So I got this Gladstone from Ed Shaughnessy. It was beat up. I restored it. I refinished it and cleaned everything up, and everything was in pretty good shape. There was no strainer, or there was a strainer on there. It was a Slingerland from the '60s. It just didn't work well. Stan Kiowa on a Pro Drum found this throw off where the hole pattern, the three screw pattern, matched. So he was able to put that on there, and that solved the on and off solution, but there was no way to tension. So typical of Stan, he says, I think I got something in a drawer. He finds this. This is a strainer from an old snare drum. Again, we didn't want to drill any extra holes, and the holes lined up perfectly. This is actually a throw-off. Look at that. But you can tension it. So it was the perfect butt plate. So now the drum is totally playable. I mean, it's not original, but it certainly is playable, and that's all I care about. Wow. And it's a beautiful snare drum. And as you can see, this I also got from Ed. This was in his garage. It's an Amroco calf head personally selected for Ed Shaughnessy. Unfortunately, it had a tear in it, which I was able to repair with some this is a piece of material from Aquarian that I'm not sure what the actual purpose is, but it certainly worked well as far as putting this head back into use. And here's my birthday present from Stan. It's a Gretsch drum key. It's good to have friends who own drum shops, you know?
When you play these sevens here...
So... Yeah, it's on. You got to factor it that it's on an 8 note. So again, I take this literally. It says modern swing solos. When I played the solo for the first time, what came to mind was Philly Joe Jones, and it's like, that's what I'm hearing, and that's who I'm hearing playing this solo, which would have been spot on accurate with his own swing feel. So that's kind of how I interpret this. There are other solos in there that don't sound that way. You know, you do them accordingly. But I'm a jazz drummer, so my interpretation of almost everything is going to be a jazz interpretation. Unless it's strictly notated and annotated that I want this particular sound and feel.
This whole section especially, it's almost like you could hear the phrase and it makes so much sense, but when you try to read those 4 bars, it looks weirder than it actually sounds.
It does, and that's tripped up students for years. And don't forget, Jacob, this is not sight reading material. These are solos you work on, right? And what really makes a difference, since there are no dynamics indicated, right? What really makes a difference is adhering to the accents accurately, because you hear the difference between this. A lot of people would be inclined to play both of those beats accented, or both of those beats accented. It makes a huge difference when you just hear the beats accented that are written. As far as tuning your drum, how do you tune it? Bottom head tighter, top head tighter?
I go back and forth. Usually, recently, for a long time, I had the bottom pretty tight and then wiggled with the top. And it also, it depends on the room. Sometimes I might take the bottom down a little bit just so that the tone doesn't get just choked at the end. Right now, it's pretty up.
That's good. Okay. Because for years I did the opposite. I was tighter on top than on the bottom. And when I got with Aquarian, and Roy Burns and I started to talk, he said, no, man, you got to do the exact opposite. And he sent me this whole tuning thing. And he's absolutely right. My drums sound better. I like playing them better. It's easier to tune them. So the bottom head tighter for me is the right combination. And on snare drums particularly, you want that bottom head nice and tight so that the snares resonate. Jacob. That's good. All right.
That might have been better than the last one.
I think it was.
Yeah.
That was a good take.
Yeah.
Perfect. Totally relaxed.